Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Echo. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it free on itch.io. But if you want to support people that made this game and are making others, you can go to their Patreon. It's $3 a month. So, on the last Let's Play, we played football, otherwise known as soccer in the States. And then we went to take some more pictures and bumped into Clint, who was high and had a gun, but he didn't seem as antagonistic. He just, was just talking to himself and also us about why he didn't seem to be so against us being gay, but was against us, being with Leo. And then told a story about a guy that got his legs chopped off by a train and then jumped out of a building, and how he doesn't like being in town because of, everything's the same unless he's high. Also that Leo bullies him. Yeah, lots of stuff. And then we snuggled with Leo because, Latino wolves. Which, let's see. There's Death from Puss in Boots, and then Leo from here. I know there seems to be a big amount of Latino wolves. Though, actually, he's Brazilian, I think. Anyways, I can't think of the others off the top of my head, but it seems to be a big thing recently, or at least I've noticed. Anyways, just set my face. Let's start. There we go. Wow. Clint hadn't been lying after all. What? Leo whispers at me from across the table, not looking up from his phone. Nothing. Just find some interesting stuff. I whisper back. Good. Leo grins, but still not looking up from his phone. Couldn't we just look this on the internet? We actually had to go to a library to do this? There isn't much to go off of. After reading through it, I'm pretty skeptical of Haunted Echo, the main source of my documentary. At least, the bit of information I came across references some newspaper articles from 1952. A young wolf named Robert Smith wasn't even a resident of Echo. He had been residing at Echo Classification Yard after taking a train from the capital. He was on his way to the west coast, and once he thought he'd found the right train, he attempted to board it. No one knows exactly what happened. Yet, somehow, his train hopping went horribly wrong, and he was found with both limbs severed 2 hours later. He managed to crawl 20 yards north up along the rail before he was found. Somehow, impossibly, he survived the ordeal up to that point. This was mainly due to the mud packs that had been placed on the stumps, halting the bleeding. Does that actually work? I've never heard of that before. It's also probably horribly infectious. Of note was the fact that Robert had seemingly become delirious because of the blood loss, pain, or trauma. Likely a combination of all three, actually. He claimed that the bleeding had been stopped by a creature of some kind. Good creature? Is this what I remember seeing some meme where it's like, yeah, animals don't can't understand everything and don't perceive what we know. It's like that fireworks aren't bad. So it's like, what happens if these night terrors are actually beings from another dimension that's trying to help? It's like, you need to get out of this house, there's a gas leak. When he tried to describe it, he began to sob and scream incoherently. It's hard to say how much of this is being exaggerated by the author. Either way, I don't exactly have time to track down all of her sources, so I decide I'll just have to trust it. My leg jumps as something soft and ticklish brushes up against it. Leo. I snap my gaze up at Leo. What? Leo gives me an innocent look while he continues to brush his tail up against my leg. Well, if you're not going to say anything, then please stop doing that. It's distracting. He does stop, then I feel a little guilty, so I look back up. And thanks for getting a library card, just so I could check this out. It's a huge help. He smiles. No problem. Nutria. Good thing I didn't close Google Translate. Nutria. The more you learn. Otter. Okay. Not one of your sexier words. I return back to the book. It's unlikely that Robert would have survived anyway, due to the extent of his injuries and infection. Still, it is of note that he ended up committing suicide a few hours after discovery. He apparently slipped out the 5th floor window of the Peyton Regional Medical Center, though authorities simply dismissed it as a case of a man knowing that his demise was nigh, and finished the job himself. The author speculates it had something to do with the horse he saw on the tracks. I hear a soft whine coming from in front of me, and I lower the book to find Leo draped across the table on his chest. Oh, Leo. He's looking up at me with huge puppy eyes. I can't help but smile because it's so fucking adorable, even for a wolf as big as him. What? I have a project to do, remember? Yeah, I know, but I want to bury my bone. But we've been here for 3 hours now. You should take a break. I look at the time, and I'm shocked that he's actually right. How the hell did that happen? Well, I guess that's a good idea. I was just finding some really interesting stuff. I'm sure that project of yours isn't going to turn out awesome. Well, it didn't turn out awesome in the other Let's Play. We never actually figured out what happened there. We just kind of stopped doing that project and eventually left town. And also the entire town left town, apparently. It turned out awesome, yeah. He grins and stands up abruptly, grabbing my book up as well, so I couldn't continue to read. Let's get some lunch. It's already almost 3. Alright, did you want to go to the diner? You want to eat there? Well, it's been a few days. I like to catch up with the others, you know? I know that's what you wanted to do. Actually, everyone's busy. I already tried. Oh, really? Oops, sorry. What are they doing? Well, Flynn's working. Working on trying to solve the murder. TJ and Jenna are on a hike. And Carl's asleep. And high. And drunk. Oh. It doesn't really seem like Leo to just blow off meeting up with everyone. But I guess at this point in the trip, he's just tired of trying. I know I would be. Probably just to show me up. From what I said last night, Leo takes me to a semi-fancy steakhouse. And I forgot to go on Discord and be like, how's the town of Echo? Population-wise. He, of course... Sorry. Yeah, it's reading. Insists on paying for everything. I'm not really sure when Leo's become so concerned about how I perceive his income. He took me to the fancy place called Olive Garden, or Outback Steakhouse. Though, the thing is, I like those places. I wouldn't call them cheap. I mean, they're good prices, but they're not like low places, you know? Outback Steakhouse makes good steaks. Also, Outback Steakhouse, please give me money to advertise you. I don't mind though. Oh yeah, and Olive Garden. When you're there, your family. The meal is good, and I'm happy not to pay the $30 price tag. It does remind me of his job though, so I ask him about his schedule. He says his parents gave him the entire week off, which surprises me. I remember how Leo worked almost every day in that shop. I guess his dad is just smelling out with age. Again, I have no reason to complain though. On the way back, Leo nudges me as I'm nodding off and gestures out his window. Peyton High. Sure enough, our old school is visible out the window. Oh yeah, I guess we traveled outside of the city, Echo to go to school. Want to swing around? Just look at it? Yeah. I'm tired, but we're not doing anything else. Personally, I would like to go back to my high school to just look around the building. maybe thumb through the books and be like, okay, what are these people reading? Though it's been like, let's see, I graduated there in like 2007. It's been a good couple of years since then. So the books would have to have been replaced by then. Though this is Texas and they do love changing their education systems quite a bit. But anyways, just being like, okay, what are they learning? What does school look like? Etc. etc. I'm tired, but we're not doing anything else. Alright, why not? I pass 5. It's past 5 at this point, and we pull up into the parking lot. Sorry. There are only a few cars scattered around. Walk around the side of the school, then onto the football field. If Peyton High School put his money anywhere, it was definitely sports. Wait, I think I find it really freaking weird. I'm like one of the oldest people in my friends group. It is really weird because I'm like, okay, how old is this person? It's like, because I'm like, oh, they're about my age, right? And it's like, wait, you're... Actually, let me look up my friend's thing. Sorry for going on tangents. What's the Word document I have? I have a Word document so I can remember their, like, birthdays and stuff like that. I really need to put on the calendar, though. Oh, friend info. They're 25 years old. And I'm like 9 years older than them. Yeah, I'm old. And it's like, wait, really? We're that much different apart? And then there's another friend I know that's like 22 and it's like, dear God, you guys are just babies. They're just little baby. I think the oldest one of the oldest people I know is like 30? No, wait, 34. It should be fine that I'm just saying their ages and not who they actually are, but it's like, Jesus, I'm older than you, but also shorter than everybody, or most people. But I'm a powerhouse. Anyways, that was definitely one of the reasons I was so mediocre by comparison. Every sport in the school was extremely competitive, each one winning state regularly. They win state again since I've been gone? Nope. Got even close to it last year, though. Almost as close as they did back in 09. Oh yeah. You still sore about that? Leo sits down on the top bench, the concrete bleachers, and I sit down next to him. Sometimes, mostly because we're so damn close, but it really just feels like it was yesterday. Good thing I never turned out to be one of those people that were like, high school, the glory days. I mean, sometimes I'd like to be back in high school to be like, okay, what were we actually learning back then now that I'm concentrating? And maybe, like, try to live in a different way. Because I had, like, a long-distance girlfriend, but not, like, an actual close thing. But anyways, like, it'd be interesting to see how to deal with high school now that I am who I am. Hopefully minus the problem drinking. It does kind of feel that way. But yeah, I would hopefully never be one of those people that's like, I'm gonna relive the glory days of high school all over again, like the football thingy. I can remember it pretty clearly. It was one of the few times I'd seen Leo really cry. He'd wanted that championship so bad. Also, another thing on the side, just like, it amazed me that, I learned out that, you know, there was an age where you could have sex, because I turned 18, it's like, hey, you can have sex. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't have sex for, like, a long time after that. But it was, like, figuring out that and finding out, like, other students were, like, having sex. I was like, wait, what? You guys actually do that? Like, I was, like, just it was like, wait, really? Huh. You guys have sex. Weird. Anyways, back to the game. I lean back and look around, breathing deeply. Wow, it's really nostalgic being here. Isn't it? Leo looks off towards the sunset, and I can see him getting glassy-eyed. Is it weird that, if I could, I'd go through high school again? I think for a moment. Not really. I'd like to do it. I made a lot of mistakes. Well, not really because of that. More like, it was a lot of fun. I just want to experience it all again. I grin at him. Hey, you're talking like you peaked in high school. Did I? The question catches me completely off guard, and my stumbling around for words that doesn't help. No, he sighs. Leo, you've got a good paying job, your own house, a pretty damn good life. You're doing better than most. He laughs a little. I guess I just don't feel like it, you know? Why not? He leans back. Well, I don't really feel as good as I did back then. When I think of high school, or even further back, man, those are the good days. I think about how completely inverse I am to that, how my life improved exponentially after I left the town. Well, you know, if you keep looking back, I don't think you'll ever be happy. And here's the thumbnail. He looks so sad. I have my arm around his shoulders, and which is a little difficult considering how broad they are. And Jesus, what are they doing downstairs? Because 5 years from now, you'll probably look back on this era of your life and think, man, I wish I could go back. You're probably right. So, let's just enjoy now. Leo sighs again, then looks straight down at me, meeting my eyes. Chase? Yeah? He pauses, looking off to the side, before turning his eyes back on mine. I love you. I immediately look away. Chase, please. Please, just come back. I miss you so much. Every day. I stare out across the fields, not able to meet his eyes again. I'll stop smoking. I'll stop picking on Clint. I'll get rid of the gun. Please. Just please come back. I don't know, Leo. You know how I don't like it here. And I feel like I should keep my options open to find a good job, a good place to live. Just for a year or two. While you're getting on your feet, I'll give you a place to stay. Sounds great, Leo. But to get back together, that's just like setting ourselves up for another breakup. And I don't want to do that. But then we'd know for sure, without parents, without school in the way, or school in the way. It'll just be like us, and then... No, wait. It'll just be us, and then, even if it doesn't work out, there's some closure there. For the first time, I feel myself seeing things from Leo's point of view. I'm not necessarily losing anything by at least trying. He's right. There really isn't any closure, mostly because of me. Leo must sense my indecision because he immediately presses forward. I'll be making enough to support you while you figure things out. Hey, I don't want to mooch. I don't mind. I just want you to be comfortable so you can do what you want to do. But, Echo. Leo's quiet for a while. A long while before he finally speaks up. Now, that I can't fix. But I guess one way to decide is to weigh what's more important to you. You're asking me to choose? I'm not asking that exactly. Leo glances at me. But if I did? I blow out a long sigh. So you are. He doesn't say anything. My mind starts wandering over the years we'd spent together. Despite how much we fight, there's no question in my mind. The answer is, and it hits me like a thunderbolt. Well, I choose you. All at once, his face explodes into a grin. So much happiness in one expression that I don't think I'd ever be able to take back what I just said, even if I wanted to. And instantly, I'm wrapped up in a tight, warm hug, one that crushes the air from my lungs. Oh my god, Chase, I love you so fucking much. Hey! But you've still got a year of school left, So we're gonna have to get back into contact, and we're gonna have to exchange. I clasp his muzzle shut, with my hand around it, and he stares back at me with his wide eyes. I didn't even say yes. I take my hand away from his muzzle. Oh, well, what'd you say? I look again towards the sunset, past the concrete bleachers and goalposts, in the direction of Echo, and take a deep breath. I look back at Leo. Yes. And then he's kissing me. It's not rough, like it was at the train yard. His mouth stays closed, but he holds my head gently, and it's like he's trying to pour all of his love into me, through just his lips. It's ridiculous as it might sound. I can feel it, as. That night, he rails me really hard. My butt is sore. Leo's heavy. Soft buddy presses me into the bed, licking and kissing up my neck. His hands slide up and down my body, feeling out everything, and he's gasping like he can't catch his breath. Okay, so I guess... woo. I lie there, my eyes shut, as I can feel his cock pressing up against mine, writhing every time Leo reaches down to grasp them together. I slide my own hands down his back. Oh, right. Until I reach his rear and squeeze hard until his tail, under his tail, forcing their gasp out of the big woof. Slowly, he starts to lick down the length of my body, starting with my chest, then down to my stomach. He pauses to snuffle, and tease against my navel before his mouth finally closes around me. My eyes roll back as I clutch into the sheets, arching my back. And they came quickly. Listen as Leo showers down the hall, and I smile as I hear him singing. I'd usually shower with him back in the day, but I was so tired I pass out as soon as we both finished. Once I opened my eyes again, Leo was already in the shower. I was about to drift off again when I hear Leo's phone buzz. He'd been on it all day, probably trying to coordinate a meeting with the others. It's already Friday. It was hard to believe. We had to get together again before we lost the chance. I look over. The screen is already lit up, so I sit up and look. A message from Flynn. Yeah, well, fuck you too. Not exactly a surprising message to get from Flynn, but I still wonder what they're fighting about. From the sounds of it, Leo is still in the middle of a shower, still rocking out his diva pop song. Oh god, why are you doing this to me, gang? Ah, Chulita. Yeah, we're probably not gonna ever go back to that, so we'll just put that safety save there and invade his privacy. I mean, we don't know his number, so we'd only be able to look at the front screen, right? Also, let's reset my face. With some amount of guilt, I reach over and grab his phone and open up his text. Immediately, I see a few pinned conversations. They're from me. Judging by the dates, they're from when I was still away at college. There's also a few saved attachments, and I quickly swipe away to the other, more recent conversations. The latest one is from earlier this morning, and it looks like it's to Flynn. Chase has a project to do. I don't know why that makes this ominous music start. Bullshit. You're fucking with him again, huh? I'm helping him. You planned this from the start, didn't you? What? This whole thing, it was to get back into his pants. How about I plan this a year after you ruined the entire week, huh? How about I planned this after you ruined the entire week? Oh, how about I planned this after you ruined the entire week, huh? Yeah, well, fuck you too. I frowned. It's too bad Leo and Flynn are still fighting, but for some reason their exchange has me feeling uneasy. I pull up His next recent text thread went with Carl. Carl asked Leo when we're hanging out again yesterday night. Leo poked some fun at him about him sleeping in the crawl space. Then Leo tells him that he isn't sure, that I'll probably be too busy with my project to hang out. What was last night again? Leo never asked me. I feel my heart start to pound. Today, Carl texts again, asks me how things were going. Leo tells him that I wanted to go to the high school for nostalgia's sake, that I wanted to be alone for it. He sent that 2 hours before we even got there, before he acted as if it was on a whim. Then Jenna asks if Leo was avoiding her, if she said something wrong. Leo tells her everything's fine, but again, I'm too busy to hang out. And then this text to TJ. Hey, yesterday was so much fun. I know you said you're probably going to be busy, but I wanted to check. She's still pretty sad about what happened on Monday. I think he needs more time. Oh, okay, please tell him I'm sorry. He told me he was fine yesterday, but I guess he must have been faking it for my sake. Yeah, he's still pretty broken up. We'll figure it out, though. I'm gripping the phone hard. Leo, I've already done all of this? Could really have done all this? To TJ especially. I sit there quietly, listening to the wolf. My wolf continues to sing. A stomach twists up, and I realize that now I have to confront him about on this. Wait, it was like the first section's like, well, that doesn't seem too bad. But then the continued things of like everybody's being like, hey, you want to hang? It's like, no, Chase is too sad or too busy. Because like one of them was like, well, okay, I mean, Chase does have a project and he has to, do stuff. And then it's like, because there is, I'm not sure if there's like a decision between all these things, but there is a decision I know that does have a good ending and a bad ending. It's like, why would I pick the thing that leads to the bad end? It's like, okay. I let things slide before, but this is on a different level. I hug my knees and stare at the wall, feeling strangely violated now. As I stare, I see a dark spot with spindly legs move across the wall. The spider pauses, as if acknowledging me before disappearing into the dark corner. I think that's a good cliffhanger. Yeah, good cliffhanger. Fuck. I feel like him going here, I'm looking at mostly at otter porn, doesn't seem too bad, even though it seemed to make it seem like he had red flags. But it's like, personally, I like goth girls and alt girls and stuff like that. So, that's what's when it comes to girls, that's what's my things are focused on mostly. So if I dated a goth girl or something like that, and then it shouldn't be too strange that they would be like, oh, this guy's into goth people. Granted, also like a good personality and all that stuff, but etc. Too bad there aren't a lot of alt girls in Texas. And then again, messages to Flynn seemed perfectly fine. The messages to one of them was like, hey, he's busy with this project on the day. It's like, well, yes, going to the library for hours. And then the other stuff. Fuck. Also, before I forget, I'm gonna bring up Discord so I can be like, hey, what's the population of these towns? Just curious. So, spay neuter your animals, like, subscribe, check out other videos. If you want to play this game, then you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or made this game and or other game, want to do other games, go to their Patreon. And until next $3 a month. And until next time, I'll say me. GamerWolfSix of Echo, a game about wolves that have a lot of red flags. So thanks and see ya.